You've seen this brand maybe on Shark Tank, or maybe you've heard Joe Rogan talk about them all the time on his show. They even outsell 5 Hour Energy Drink in CVS stores nationwide. Who am I talking about? NeuroGum. Today, we talk to the founder of this iconic brand about how he went from mixing powders in his college dorm room to now a 9-figure company. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. So we're here in Miami. I'm very honored. Special guest I've been a fan of for years, and so this is my first time meeting him. Kent, welcome to the show. So awesome. Like, I remember finding out when you guys use Helium 10. I don't even know how I figured it out, really. I think I was just looking through our database, or maybe somebody in your team, maybe Jonathan, like had posted something somewhere about Helium. I was like, oh my God, NeuroGum, which I can't live without, uses Helium 10. That is so cool. And I think I told you recently a story of how I remember Mina back in the day in like, you know, like e-commerce house parties and stuff that we used to have and networking events. He would always put out these like mints and gums like on the tables there and like be hyping it up. And just now I'm realizing that was NeuroGum that was so putting way back then.
That's a good friend.
I love it. A lot of, I'm a fan. A lot of you guys are fans out there of the brand and of Kent too, but maybe some of you that you're hearing about it for the first time. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. Where were you born and raised? I
was born and raised in Nagoya, Japan, but was raised in Los Angeles, California.
Okay, so moved out here when you were young?
Moved out here when I was 3 months old. So
wow.
I was literally in Japan only because my dad was on a business trip. And my mom didn't want to be by herself in America. So I was like, all right. And then my dad actually left on a business trip the day I was born. So he wasn't even there.
Oh my goodness.
But no, it was good. Like I think the healthcare system is maybe a little bit more comfortable there.
Yeah, okay.
So I was born in a nice hospital out there.
Nice. Growing up in California, did you ever have an idea about what you wanted to be when you grew up?
Man, so I saw myself as wanting to be an artist even when I was younger. And that was a big part of my life, prior to NeuroGum. But then I got into martial arts. I thought I wanted to be a professional fighter. So that's like a whole nother, I'm so glad I didn't go down that path. And your parents are right about some things. Because when they're younger. And one of the things they definitely didn't want me to do was getting punched in the head for a living. So,
and that was before people knew about the whole CT, whatever the football players get. But
it's like romanticized, right? Like you're talking about like the Bruce Lees of the world, especially when I was growing up. And I think I romanticized martial arts so much that I was trying to look for a career in it. And, in some ways, subconsciously, it did shape me into developing NeuroGum. Coming here. So.
Yeah, we're definitely going to find out about that.
Yeah.
Now, before you started that, I think it was during your college years. Where did you end up going to college?
UC San Diego.
San Diego. Triton. Yeah, yep, San Diego in the house. He was questioning like why I'm a Dodgers fan when I'm from San Diego, but hey, sometimes it happens that way.
A little identity crisis.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Now, what was your major there?
Neuroscience.
Neuroscience. Okay, so like. When you start a major, usually you have something in mind, like about a career path. Hey, you study engineering. Hey, I want to be a civil engineer. Where did you think you were going to take that?
Well, so it was cognitive science with the emphasis on neuroscience. So wow. it was very specific. To me, I was really fascinated, and some of the early classes I took at UC San Diego were around abnormal psychology. It was around neural networks, which are obviously very popular now because of AI. But during that time, it was more of assessment on how conditionally your brain works to make decisions and how you can use systems to make decisions. And those things were it was the thing that I got fascinated in immediately when I was taking my general ed courses at UC San Diego.
Okay.
And I felt like I could have done a career in the sciences of some sort, but going less so into like the surgical, like a neuro, less the doctor side, and more so the abnormal psychology. How can I look at the impact of the brain across the entire body, the physiology, and how we are in fact controlled by this thing that is stuck in our skulls.
Yep.
And diving more into that stuff's just fascinating me, and it still fascinates me.
Yeah. I mean, the word biohacking and stuff like that didn't even exist. I don't think much, 10, 20 or 20 years ago maybe. And it's like, it's amazing to see what people are doing. Now, it was during these years at UCSD's where you first came up with the idea for NeuroGum, right?
It was, yeah. My sophomore year, around that time when I was getting deeper into clinical research, understanding the world of nootropics and biohacking, becoming one of the early, I guess, adopters of that biohacking, phenomenon that now is really big. But you're talking about like 15 years ago at this point now. The notion of supplementation to have cognitive benefits were only limited to purely energy. So how do you take, just a solely caffeine, or how do you take the combination of like a taurine or some things in No Explode? We're talking about like pre-workouts to just jack you up. But obviously there's many detrimental effects that come out of taking things like that. So, leveraging what I was learning in school, albeit it was only a few short years, I wanted to figure out what combination of supplements could have worked for me, and then I discovered nootropics.
And it wasn't and we're not talking about you're already making mints and gums in your dorm room there. Well, what form was your? I picture this like secret lab in his dorm with a scientist experiments.
Oh man, we call it like the Scarface den. The fact that there wasn't enough deep clinical research behind any of those ingredients, though, that were like justifiable for long-term use, led me down the path of, okay, what's a much more convenient, approachable, supplement stack that could be used.
What was the motivation? Was it just for fun? Like, this is a hobby to experiment, with biohacking, or was there other motivations there?
Yeah, I mean, my days were spent training every single day. I was still pushing to become a professional fighter. I was fighting in Thailand since, I was in high school in Pattaya Stadium. I was training at Yotong, training, 4, 5, 6 hours a day at times. I was traveling to Japan, training with the Judo Olympic team out there, with the Imperial Guards out there as well.
Wow.
Like, judo was a really big part of my life during that time. And I still I'm Asian, I still want to do well in school. And when I was looking for supplements that would balance this life I wanted to live with physical training while maintaining some higher level of mental capacity, there was nothing in the marketplace that allowed me to do that, which led me down the path of, again, nootropics.
Awesome. Now, at what point, if you can remember, was there ever a click in your head obviously you're doing it for yourself originally, just, for your own goals. But were you like, hey, this could potentially be a career, or this could be something that actually makes money or that I can commercialize?
It's funny because I didn't realize that until, my co-founder got in a really bad snowboarding accident that left him paralyzed from the waist down. And he was an athlete also. He was a captain of his cross-country and track team. Incredibly fast runner, obviously, because of that. Took his team to nationals.
Wow.
But his sophomore year, he got in a snowboarding accident that left him paralyzed from the waist down. And these supplements that I was mixing happened to help him a lot in getting back into the rhythm of life, finishing school on time. And there's a moment in all of that. And then I started getting the supplements and using my friends as guinea pigs. But there was a moment in time where I realized, like, wow, if this is so effective for me and is so effective for the people close to me, it must be useful for people beyond this small circle that has tried this stuff. And, with anything entrepreneurship oriented, I think that's a catalyst to be like, okay, I need to spread the gospel of what I created, because I think it will help more people.
And then, so what was your first journey into e-commerce? Was it on Amazon? Did you start a website, or did you start like local network, Craigslist, or what did you do?
I learned how to use Wix.com, which was actually pretty easy at the time also, but I learned HTML first.
Okay.
And I tried to code a website with HTML and CSS and made the worst website of all time. So that was one. And then I went into Wix.com, and I eventually landed on WordPress, and then now we use Shopify, which is the best. It like beats all. It just like I think it literally took all those other companies out. But our first foray into selling anywhere, I guess, was on Indiegogo, which was
like a Kickstarter.
Yeah, it was a crowdfunding site. And
what year about are we talking about now?
This is 2015.
Okay.
So, and then, we started our business like officially in 2013, but we weren't really doing anything. That was when we were just like doing R&D and setting stuff up. But 2015, launched on Indiegogo. At that time, I was already one of the biggest contributors on Reddit, Nootropics. And I posted about the fact that we invented this gum that has these ingredients that help you stay energized and focused with your favorite nootropic stack of natural caffeine and L-theanine. And it just blew up. And in literally in 3 days, we doubled our goal.
Wow.
And Time Magazine wrote about us. Dr. Oz called me while I was at like a dinner.
Wow.
And or his producer called me and was like, "We want you on the show." And it was basically just it conditioned us to be like, okay, this is something real.
Yeah.
It was that was like a true catalyst to understand that if people are willing to buy this thing, then there's a capacity to scale it.
Now, before you got on Shark Tank, which was another step in your journey there, what had you accomplished? Like, was it were you already on Amazon? Was it only the website? And like, what kind of sales were you doing at that point?
Yeah, I mean, so the first few years, everything was operating out of my apartment. Right, the first shipment of 3 pallets of gum was just sitting in my living room. Our one employee was my roommate, who's now our COO. And then Ryan would bring snacks he used to work at Hulu, so he would bring snacks from Hulu to feed us. Like it was really bootstrapped. And that was like the first, I guess, 2-3 years of the business. We were selling on our website. Very quickly, we went to sell on Amazon, knowing that was a massive, it's the biggest selling platform online that allowed us to reach a bigger audience in a much more accessible way. And then our next foray after that was going to be, okay, how do we get on retail and other platforms?
Nice. What year was Shark Tank?
Shark Tank was 2020. So we filmed in 2019, it aired in 2020.
And was the goal like trying to potentially just get more funding because it was hard to capital and things like that, or what?
Yeah, I mean, we were definitely trying to get a deal. Understanding that with that Indiegogo moment at the very beginning was a catalyst into one stage of the business, and then we had little things like we had these PR wins. We went on like a show with T-Pain. We had podcast mentions. That was like another stepping stone, and then Shark Tank was obviously another big boost, but in creating a brand new category, because this idea of like energy gum and functional gum and mints, like it doesn't exist. It exists now, and
Sure.
We're obviously the leader in it, but to educate people on this entirely new category took so much PR, took so much attention that needed to be put into that category itself that we realized Shark Tank could be a good, another good milestone / stepping stone to educate consumers.
Okay. At what point did you guys discover Helium 10? And do you remember, was it you? Was it somebody else in your team?
Definitely me. Hugh grew up in the 2015 to the 2020s of e-commerce.
Yeah.
You used Jungle Scout and you used Helium 10.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, you're falling behind, you know? Because Amazon didn't share. I mean, there's like black hat ways to do things, obviously, but like Amazon's not sharing anything with you.
People now, you Amazon sellers nowadays do not know how spoiled you are with some of this stuff that Amazon gives. Back in those days, they were tight-lipped completely.
They were tight-lipped. Back in those days, like the only way you could get access to information was through platforms like Helium 10. So I think we've been like a diamond customer for like 8 years or something.
Love it.
Now.
I love it. Now, right before this offline, you were telling me about a funny story. You discovered some keywords with Helium 10, but you actually applied this to like something not even to do with Amazon that ended up being a huge revenue booster. Can you talk about that in the PG or PG-13 way here?
So, we would expect people to find us through caffeine and gum and, whatever. Even like on the more fringe side, I guess you could, look at nootropics, which maybe not that many people know what the word means. But sexual enhancement happened to be a very popular keyword for us that we wouldn't have known about without Helium-10.
And then what did that mean for you? Like
it allowed us to dictate like how some of our consumers were potentially using our product or what ecosystem that would have been using our product we could target and be a little bit more nuanced in the way we market to certain people.
Yeah. I like how you put that there. If Helium-10 were to go away, what would your team miss the most? Like, what's the part they'll be like, what are we going to do now? Like, which aspect would you think?
Gosh, I mean, I'd be annoyed because I won't be able to do the reverse ASIN research and all that stuff, all the black box, the things, even with Cerebro, if we're doing even brute, I was telling you this, like even brute labor wouldn't accomplish what a platform like Helium-10 can do.
What's the biggest year of sales for you? Like every year, are you like was 2025 your biggest, or was there? And approximately how much are we talking about across everything? Really rough.
Yeah, pretty big. Like more or less 9 figures.
No, very nice, very nice. Now, what aspect of that is like in store versus is Amazon your biggest online channel? Are we talking 50-50 brick and mortar versus online?
Yeah, Amazon is probably about 35 to 40% of our business. So it's the majority of our business in that sense, right? Mm-hmm. Retail this year is going to be an ever expanding force. Again, I keep using the word dictated by, but our decisions that we make in retail are truly dictated by what our learnings are on our website and Amazon. And then obviously we have our website, which is more of a brand platform than anything now, but it is the communication point, it is the data points, all those things that Amazon necessarily can't share, but we are able to apply to our marketing.
Amazon being your biggest online channel, what's your second biggest online channel?
Our website, then TikTok, then retail. But this year it's going to be probably Amazon, retail, TikTok, our website.
You're a very successful brand. It hasn't always been wonderful, I bet. What was one of the biggest disasters that you've had to deal with, or catastrophes, or like something like planned for? You're like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? And then how did you overcome whatever happened?
I have so many of those, by the way.
Everybody does. Everybody does.
So, one, we got our first order in from CVS. Our first chance at retail. A big PO. There's teams high-fiving each other. A historic polar vortex swings through the Midwest. All trucks are stopped. Our inventory is literally frozen at the distribution center, and CVS is calling us, yelling at us, asking where their product is. They're like, "We gave you a chance. Where's our product now?" We found one truck, literally, that was willing to drive through the snowstorm somehow, and that guy delivered to CVS just in the nick of time. Wow. And then now we're one of CVS's best-selling products.
Love it.
So that's one. And then, there's the one that pops up on TikTok from time to time, and there's a really nice redemption story that's going to air in February. But after Shark Tank aired, we got sued by a very, very wealthy person that owned another company with the same name as us, although they operate in totally different categories. Mm-hmm. And so it was a frivolous lawsuit through and through. But this person was worth $300 million from a divorce. And she was like, I'm going to spend all my money to take you guys down. She just absolutely hated us.
What was her name? Karen? Oh, no, sorry.
Ryan. So when we went on Shark Tank, Daniel Lubetsky, the founder of Kind Bar, was like, I love you guys. If you need anything, I'm not going to invest now because I don't take supplements, but you guys could hit me up at any point and I can help you. So we literally a month later, Ryan slid into his DMs and he was like, Daniel, I know you said we could reach out to you if you need anything. We would love your help right now. Daniel came in, literally went to this lady and was like, look, I'm worth 10 times more than what you're worth. And if you're going to fight these guys, you're effectively going to be fighting me because I'm going to back their lawsuit. And she backed away. And the business is still running.
Your network is your net worth.
That's right.
Absolutely. All right. Flip side, the most amazing things that happen to you, I would assume the Joe Rogan, thing. So talk a little bit about that since we didn't get into that. And was there another something that was just like a surprise that just amazing that worked out great for you guys?
Gosh, I mean, of all the bad things that, the thing is I'm like a fairly optimistic, positive person. So there's not even like too many, even that time I was like in the hospital taking experimental drugs, I don't even look at that as hard times or bad times. I just see it as a chapter in our company's history. Yeah, I mean, Joe Rogan talking about it. It's like, how do you...
Completely organically,
organically. I mean, that's like a dream for any company to wish for, and he's done it like 40 plus times now.
Yeah.
Like he absolutely just like loves our product, like or actually organically.
Did you ever find out how he discovered it? Just from a store or online?
So one of our friends, John Beer, one of the coolest guys in the world, sent him a bunch of product. And then like a year passed and we didn't think, he ever received it or anything. But lo and behold, one day right after Shark Tank, Joe Rogan starts talking about us. My phone starts blowing up. And
so it's not just random, guys. Even those kind of random things might happen, there was still a reason why that happened. If they had never done that, that situation might never have
exactly.
been.
Like we were still like effectively seeding and making sure, constantly making sure your product shows up in front of people. So that was like an incredible moment, even like early on when my Reddit, our Nootropics postings leading into Indiegogo getting funded as quickly as it did, then Dr. Oz's team reaching out to me, and then us winning LA Tech Fair to like continue our funding. It's like, and then T-Pain's team reaching out to us. So like we did a TV show with T-Pain. And then like even more recently, Steve Aoki FaceTimed Dave Grutman, who's they say the king of Miami. He owns Live nightclub and Komodo and Poppy Steak. He's best friends with Kim Kardashian. He seeded it out to all of his friends. Kim Kardashian posted about us. Ivanka Trump posted about us. Like, wow. It's crazy that when you do take those opportunities to obviously I'm going to say we have a great product, but if you have a great product, and you put it in front of people, like they'll talk about it.
Love it.
And that network is your net worth. It continues to expand.
Love it. On TikTok, what's your team's strategy? Like, are you trying to make a profit on that channel as well? Or are you mainly using TikTok to, hey, let's break even, but knowing that is really giving a boost to our website, it's giving a boost to our Amazon, it's getting our name out there. How do you guys tackle that?
So a lot of people talk about this halo effect from TikTok. And there's an undeniable halo effect when you start putting your name everywhere. But to us, at the size of company we're at, the impact of the halo is actually not as significant as a lot of people think it is. We try to run TikTok profitably. I think all good businesses, similar to what Warren Buffett says, have to run profitably to be a good business and sustainably. And for us, the big goal for TikTok is, even as a discount platform, are there capabilities of leveraging the social commerce aspect of TikTok to provide profitable brand building systems that amplify everything else in the business? And that, to break down that convoluted string of words, how do we focus more on brand on that platform than bottom of funnel tactics? Because the bottom of funnel tactics are not driving the halo as much anymore.
What percentage of your sales on TikTok Shop is like generated by creators as opposed to like your own content? Just roughly, would you say is like, it's a big chunk? Is it 50-50? It's like your stuff goes viral, or?
I mean, that's so hard to say. Yeah. It's so hard to say. I mean, obviously the creators in the affiliate ecosystem, like we would be nothing without them. They're, which is why we treat them so well. We incentivize them well. But at the same time, when you're talking about the creator is incentivized to make a sale, to make money, but they are not necessarily incentivized to push the brand principles and your brand values out.
It's true.
So you have to mix your own content, which is the owner of your brand values, and couple it with the effective bottom of funnel techniques that our affiliates use. because that together is what amplifies into other channels.
What makes a good creator for you? Like how do you search? Like of course, a lot of people are hitting you up and say, hey, I love free samples, and you guys probably search, maybe using Helium 10 or other features to try and find out what are you looking for? Like what makes somebody a good potential? Because whatever you say is like similar to, every brand, of course, is different, but I'm sure there's some general principles you can talk about.
Every category has these like celebrity creators, more or less, and these creators typically tend to follow the tactics that the biggest players within your space already do. So if there's a creator that's making content that's if we're selling this snake plant and everything is around detoxifying the room because it sucks up pollution better, all the creators will typically tend to follow what that creator pushes. And if you could identify who those major influencers, quote unquote, are even in the affiliate space, you have a leg up on everyone else to be able to acquire more creators.
Yeah.
The way we use our Discord, the way we use our communication platforms, and how we talk to our creators is all around what are the talking points that are effectively working to drive either conversions or impressions, and how are you slightly modifying it across your entire creator network to find that next hook, that next talking point that could help expand beyond that. Because what a lot of people do is like they feed talking points to their creators, and everyone's talking about the exact same thing, and after a certain point, that just completely decays. You should be constantly expanding the edges of what your affiliates are communicating and finding what's working, what's not, so you could keep discovering the next new thing.
Now, at what point did you guys start going after celebrities as far as endorsements? I said, Steve Aoki and others. Again, with the thought in mind that, hey, there's brands out there who might be in your position that you were maybe 3-4 years ago, but they're looking ahead. Like, when should a brand start looking at going to that next level of almost like an influencer creator? When does it make sense?
That's a hard question to answer, only because if you don't do it in a genuine way, it's going to come across as you just slapping a celebrity onto your brand, which a lot of people are catching on to. I think consumers are a lot more intelligent now. For us, Steve Aoki made sense because when we first started the business, he literally was taking NeuroGum in a plastic bag.
And then you all did some shady stuff back in the day. It's powders in the room from Russia and plastic bags.
Exactly. But he believed in us enough to take this sketchy tablet from a bag. And then a few years later, he reached out and was like, I need more of that NeuroGum. Where is it? And then he ended up investing in us. So he had a genuine interest. He was an actual user of the product. He exemplified our brand values perfectly. And him being a part of our brand allowed us to get other celebrity partners like we're in Miami, like Dave Grutman, to hop on board, Andrew Schultz, Mitchell Hooper, and so on and so forth. But I think, again, if you don't come back to your brand values and understand what celebrity really exemplifies what your brand is supposed to represent, then you're just slapping someone onto a bag with the hopes of winning eyeballs or impressions.
That makes sense. Now, you've been in marketing before, so I'm going to make you for the next 2 minutes here a Helium 10 marketer. Uh-oh. If you were to say, talk to a brand out there who's maybe 7-figure brand, they're pretty successful already, Shopify, Amazon, and they're like, hey, I'm doing pretty good now. I've never used Helium 10. Like, do I need Helium 10? Like, why would I need to use Helium 10 to get even better when I'm already crushing it?
So I think there's two categories of people that hit the 7-figure mark and can never break into the 8-figure mark. It's actually a lot of entrepreneurs. And, I could talk about the nuances of the keyword research and like what product categories and everything you could go into. But I think the value of Helium 10, yes, there's like this expansive capacity, but there's also this brand defensibility capacity that it has that a lot of people don't necessarily, I don't think they take advantage enough of it. if you're winning a keyword or a category or whatever it is, how are you truly owning it and then finding expansion points so that your brand strengthens rather than you becoming someone that's just launching a bunch of new products and becoming another Amazon seller?
Yeah.
And if you use Helium 10 in the right way, like what categories are you winning, what keywords are really, are the consumers attracted to, and what keywords that the consumers are attracted to is your base consumer, right? Like you get deeper and deeper. That allows you to not just strengthen the LTV of your base, but also incrementally find this new audience that will be as strong as your base audience. Because with new customers, like especially in e-commerce, you could acquire them with a high CAC, but they'll come and go. But a true consumer, like our LTV is, in the hundreds. Like a true consumer that stays on, those are the people that are truly building exponential value in your business.
You have a few hours a week, guys. I think we need to put them on payroll a little bit here. I'm sure we have some room. We'd love to have you on the team. Now, you have reached a stage of your business that many entrepreneurs can only dream of. And what keeps you motivated, even though you've achieved so much? Like how do you wake up and say, hey, I need to go harder instead of just, you know what, it's time for me to just kick back in the Maldives and just, rake in profits here?
Dude, if business is endless, building a brand is endless. Like similar to what I just said, that core consumer group that we could constantly expand, it's all about the brand building. Where are we targeting them? What fun things can we even do? That's where I think entrepreneurship is truly one of like the best things anyone could get into, because I think I was saying earlier, but growing up, I did art, I paint murals, and like art was a really big part of my career at one point. But the ultimate creation that you could possibly do that's never finished is building a business, because there's always something more that you can build on.
I like it. Now, you're obviously very fit and healthy, and that's something I talk about too. I had a heart attack a few years ago at an early age, and I wasn't taking care of myself. I was dead for 15 minutes, and it was obviously an ordeal. And I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs out there, sometimes they get into just so into their business because like you can see the passion that he has for his business. You guys have that too, but sometimes we neglect our mental and physical health. So you mentioned a couple of things, hobbies, be it art, but how do you attack that aspect of things where you can like make time for mind and body, and what are the things that you do to make sure you do that?
The superficial answer is Neuro as a product is a representation of mind and body. So unless I'm looking the part as the CEO of someone that represents that, I'm doing a bad job, and I'm probably not the best representation of the brand. So that's very, again, like when I say superficial, more as like how people perceive us. I have to represent that, right?
Yeah.
I also do think, so I was working all the time. I was never sleeping. Like if you talk to people who knew me in my early days at Neuro, like they would say I was like a bowl of stress. It was very unhealthy. The second I started finding that balance and understanding that busyness does not equal work sometimes, it's very easy to stay busy, but it's even what's difficult is finding true impact in that work that you do in any set of time. And when I started taking care of my body, when I started finding balance between the limited hours I have to work and the limited hours I have to maintain my physical prowess, that's when everything started doing better. And hopefully people realize that before it's too late.
Yep. Good thing I did too before it was too late for me. All right, what's the future hold for you and your brand?
Neuro is, man, there's so many things, but in my heart of hearts, we're already outselling 5-Hour Energy at CVS, right? In unit velocity and revenue.
Wow.
And on Amazon also. But why can't we overtake how people think about consuming, supplements and energy as a whole. Like these are massive, total addressable markets. But if we could transform the way in a much more accessible, simple, functional, and effective way that people can really look at their health and have it in their pocket and improve their energy levels or their sleep or their stress levels, I think neuro has a long way to go to be able to be like a mainstay and a true mainstay in people's lives.
I love it. It's kind of like day one still, even though he already hit that 9-figure mark, but it just shows the potential here. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode and are inspired. And don't forget, just go to your CVS, Amazon, NeuroGum is everywhere. I need another one. Hey, Kevin in the background here. Can I grab one really quick? We'll do a little Joe Rogan moment here. There we go. Thank you very much. Yeah. Well, you heard about those sites. No, we're not going to put that in the episode. But guys, NeuroGum, make sure to get it. I do not like coffee myself. And if, before this was around, I don't know what I was doing to because I work crazy hours sometimes too. So this is great. So make sure to get some NeuroGum, support Kent and his amazing team. Thank you so much.
Thanks, man.